Well, with episode 4 of Obi-Wan Kenobi, we get what appears to be the best of the batch. Now, I know I said the last one was the best, but that was just like so far, and in comparison to the first 2 episodes, which wasn't saying much. And it still had a lot of problems with it. A lot of it just had to do with presentation and framing, but then, it's another thing about, hey, when you think about it, oh boy, does so much fall apart when you consider the canon and whatnot. And then, surprise, surprise, come to find out the writer apparently never saw Revenge of the Sith. Yeah.
Did Obi-Wan know that Darth Vader was Anakin?
Yeah, he knew that. I mean, you can chalk up to the scene that for some dumb reason he didn't know he was still alive. 10 years, and you didn't hear anything about Darth Vader. Yeah, I don't think so. Even isolated in on Tatooine, but he was still somewhat in contact. He never went into town, didn't get the local news. So that's all a mess, which even when you get one that's a pretty damn good episode, it's dragged down by all this stupid crap that they've done just out of mostly just laziness and clumsiness. I don't know. It'd be one thing you could say, oh, well, this is because they're woke and whatnot. No, it's just laziness and laziness. Yeah. But this episode, it looked good. Everything functioned. Just for the plot in the episode, more or less things made sense. There are some pretty bad assessments here. So Tala and Obi-Wan, they take him back, they treat him, he gets somewhat healed, but he's worried about Leia. They don't know Leia. They don't know where she is and all this, and then they figure out that she was taken back to the Inquisitor's headquarters, and so they're studying it, and they say, "Hey, there's something going on there. It's more than what we think," and all that type of stuff, leading you, you're going to find something in it. But how to get in? And they said, hey, it's not shielded. He said, yeah, that's because I didn't think anyone would be stupid enough to try to get in. All this works within it. There's a little stumble here and there where these are the beginnings of the rebellion. There's people that are in secret and hiding, and Tala knows them and all this sort of stuff. So they help patch up Obi-Wan, but they're not all that inclined to go on some crazy rescue mission. But then the guy that's basically the leader of this group, he says, I lost my wife into this because apparently his wife was force sensitive and they took her and killed her and stuff like that. And then, so he's, don't tell him he's not up to the fight or doesn't understand how much danger Leia's in and whatnot. And then on a dime, I'm going to help you. It's like, you got to think that dialogue through a little better. But yeah, all right, let's just get there. So they do. They're, once again, typical Star Wars stuff. They look at maps and whatnot of the base and everything. And it turns out Tala says, hey, I've got clearance. I can get in there. And yeah, but is your cover still good? And oddly enough, it is. Now, now later on, she kind of explains this, on the spot. But ultimately, she was present when Obi-Wan attacks the stormtroopers, or what he does. The first one group he attacks, and the other he just gives up like an idiot, and then that's it, Leia, we're gonna die. I guess, I don't know. And then Tala saves them all. But she was the commander of that group, wouldn't she be? And so they would have some documentation about where she was or where she was supposed to be, and then she just disappears for a while. no one, this doesn't come up. She gets through the security protocols at the base, and she BS's her way through it and all this stuff, and browbeats a guy who's lower in rank than her and that kind of thing. And all that comes up is just because she was not supposed to be at the base. He checks out and says, "You're not cleared to be here," or whatever. And so she, she pulls rank on him and all that. But it should have come up, oh, she was at this scene where they found Obi-Wan Kenobi. I mean, that would have been the talk of the town. I was like, oh my God, he didn't just find any lost Jedi. They found the big kahuna here. And it just doesn't come up. So it's a problem. But what are you going to do? So, yeah, she BS's her way. She gets in. She's able to help Obi-Wan sneak in, and he swims underneath, and he comes in. So she's basically guiding him where to go. But then Reva shows up and wants to talk to the lady after she's been interrogating Leia. And for a bit there, Reva's trying to scare Leia into fessing up, and all this. It's just like this 10-year-old girl knows all about the rebellion conspiracy and could implicate her father and all this stuff. And okay, I guess she was snooping in Daddy's business and overheard stuff. I don't know, but she, and she knows about Tyla and Obi-Wan and all that, but they already knew she was with Obi-Wan. And she tells her that Obi-Wan's dead, that he was burned alive and all this sort of stuff. It's all very terrible. But Leia's not giving her anything, so then she uses the Force to try to read her mind, but Leia's will is too strong. She can't break it. But before she does that, I was thinking, oh, you idiots, you forgot that she can do that. But no, she does it. So I was like, all right. They thought of that. And it's just that Leia, she couldn't, she's just too strong-minded for Reva to break through, which tells you about a certain other movie where it seemed to happen pretty easy for a certain other character. But nevertheless, anyway, she does this, and then of course there's problems going on, and she gets called away because of Tala, and she doesn't trust Tala. But Tala gives this story, says, "I'm actually a double agent. I've infiltrated this rebellion, and Obi-Wan is here." And she's like, wow, is she really a double agent or whatnot? But no, that's just what she had to do to explain herself, especially since Reva was beginning to suspect her, or pretty much suspected her all along. And so then she goes chasing after Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan rescues Leia, and he's excellent. He's getting it back. He's testing the Force on the way there and stuff like that. But he's functioning much better now than he did in the last episode. Now you can say, oh, he was overcome with emotion because of Darth Vader being there, and that's why he lost. Whereas here he's taking on all these stormtroopers. But he's back in action, and he saves Leia. They're underwater at part of the complex, and so he's deflecting the blaster shots, and one of them hits the glass, and so it's starting to crack. And so he has to use the Force to hold it. Leia escapes with Tala. The stormtroopers are coming through, and at the last minute, of course, he releases the water on them and all that. So it's, it all works out. Reva almost catches them, but then the last minute, the would-be rebels show up to rescue them. One of them gets killed. His girlfriend cries about it later. All that stuff. But it's, a successful rescue mission. Darth Vader shows up, pissed off at Reva. He's about to choke her to death. And then she says that she put a signal device on them, a tracer. And Darth is like, well, all right then. And of course, it's Leia's little toy. That then they end on that with, of course, its eyes turn red, which should be a clue to them that, Leia's toy is a problem, But all in all, just for the basics of a rescue mission to save little Leia, it's really good. Now, the ongoing problems with continuity and whatnot, one of the saving aspects of it was to suggest that Leia didn't know he was Obi-Wan Kenobi. She only knew him as Ben. No, that's wiped away. She knows he's Obi-Wan Kenobi. Reva refers to him as Obi-Wan Kenobi, and so that's not an option. So they're just going to go with that and say, there's some wiggle room there, in New Hope that she had known him. Yeah, it's not as bad as some of the other stuff. I mean, this business of Obi-Wan not knowing Darth Vader was alive. No. Maybe early on before, but not 10 years later, So it's that kind of sloppy stuff is damning to the show. But this one was, all the complaints I had from the previous episodes looking kind of cheap here and there. That's not the case in this one. This one, they shot it very, very well. I don't know if it's just a different crew worked on this one or what. And primarily it was in this Imperial Inquisitor base, which of course looked like the interior of the Death Star and all that classic good stuff. But they just did it better. It just looked good. So Darth Vader shows up. He's cool and everything. And so this was the best one. There's only 2 episodes left. This isn't enough to save the series or anything, but I mean, if you'd approached it with this quality and you hadn't trampled on canon so much, it would have been okay. I think a story involving Luke would be better. It makes more sense, but this is what they went with for, reasons. And, but had they approached it with this type of quality, it would have been an okay show. I don't think it would have been this saves Star Wars and brings it back. No. There's too many stumbles to it. But, this should have been the approach. I don't know what happened, but there's something terribly wrong with those first few episodes. And then we get this, which is damn near spot on in a lot of ways. There's still a lot of trouble. But even with Tala just showing up, and saving them in the last episode here, they don't come right out and say it, but they kind of like she's all a part of this movement. I thought it would have been better to say that she was an agent of Bail Organa, and that would have been a cool thing, that she was there to meet them and something went wrong and she catches them this way, that kind of thing. It's just sloppy not to include that she just magically appears and that sort of thing. But anyway, yeah, this was a better episode, and Obi-Wan, he was not depicted as a weak, cowardly man. Quite the opposite. He's very heroic in this, and hopefully it'll only get better for the last 2. I don't think it's enough to save it from the trouble. I mean, the continuity problems are huge, and of course you introduce it with that sloppy stuff that they did, and just the choices he made and the contradictions in the character's position. Was just really bad. So, but it's just, you could have had a good one. You could have had a pretty good one. It is right here. It's just, what the hell? I don't know. But this is where we are. Anyway, so, yep, episode 4, the best of Kenobi, easily. So, take it for what it is.